So this morning I have a one-to-one workshop with Nicholas, who's come from London to do a workshop with us, and he's brought two very interesting pieces of material. This I think is a Abies. It's not a spruce. I can't recognize the variety because I don't often use this variety. Unless it could even be,
Nordmann.
I think Nordmann Spruce. Abies Nordmanniana, so Abies is correct. Nordmann Spruce. Normally Nordmann Spruce is more green or blue than this, but this is more green. So the Nordmann Spruce is often used for Christmas trees. We also use it for making bonsai, but they are difficult subjects. So this is going to be an interesting challenge. And the other one he's brought is the maple. And we will talk about this first, and I will get Nicholas to relate the history. If you can just tell me how you got this and what the story is behind this tree.
Yes, so I found this tree in a park after Christmas.
Someone had thrown it away.
Yes, yes.
Discarded.
In a big black pot.
Oh.
And I was walking around with when my daughter was just born, and my wife was very annoyed that I brought the tree home.
Rubbish.
But I wanted to start bonsai, so I thought it looked nice, and I brought it home.
How tall was it when you found it?
Oh, it was like maybe this tall.
Almost a meter tall. Yes. Okay, and you cut it down.
And I cut
so that is the best decision you ever made. So you realized straight away that bonsai should be small. More difficult to make bonsai from a tall tree than a short one. So you did absolutely the right thing. And look at it, it's sprouted well, it's got lots of buds, and in 2 years has made a lot of growth. If I can just open it out and show you what is.
Got very challenging roots, in my opinion, which I didn't know what to do with. And I got rid of a few branches that were quite low.
Okay.
And the wires.
You tied the tree in, which is good. Now let's see how the roots are. It's good roots. It's made a lot of roots in September. And this is a seedling hedging honeysuckle. We will make a small bonsai for you out of this.
Great.
So
I can't remember if it was a cutting or if
it could
it
be a
just
seedling.
appeared. Yeah.
Could be a seedling. Okay, let's not destroy it. And that I don't think would have.
I really thought these had rooted.
No, they don't root that easily. They do
1
root,
year
but
old.
they take long time to root. Okay, so let's look at this material. And it has quite a lot of potential. If you come in close and see the potential here, the root base is very nice, looks very mature, and the scale of the tree, I must say, the fact that you cut it down so short gives it the right scale. So this tree has potential from both sides, even from this side or the other side. So there is a lot going for this tree. So they do produce new branches easily.
Yeah, I was surprised how many buds it got after I chopped a lot of the branches off, and even these ones that appear on the trunk.
Oh. So we're going to analyze to see which is the nicest side. If you look at the tree and you tell me which side looks nicer, and sometimes both sides are equally nice. And then we need to decide how we're going to style the tree. That determines.
I think I like
this side.
This one.
Okay.
But I'm just wondering about this big piece here.
Yes, that big piece. We can either driftwood. Although I don't always like making driftwood. You know, people make driftwood just for the sake of driftwood and nothing else.
Yeah, but you'll see that the root's a bit weird because there's this big woody part in the middle, and then these roots that sort of circle
although
inside.
That's going that way, not radial, but it's still got a lot of character. So we can do something like that. Although if we look at it from this side, you look at it, this grips the soil better.
Yes,
and you can make this the taper and bring the branches down there, and you get a more conventional tree. So that is also possible. So the choice is either using this as the front with this as the thing, forget this back side, and then you will still get a very nice looking tree. So I'm just trying to find a piece of card. So what we will do is that if we use this as front, the tree would end up like this with a very nice taper. And these are the branches coming down, so you get a very nice bonsai with lovely root there. This side is more problematical, also possible.
It'd have to be bigger, no?
Yeah, it's just be like that and like that. What I would do with the back branch, I don't know. So both are possible. Both are possible. So it's a difficult choice.
I mean, I like this as well,
Yeah.
where I cut it.
So if we use this as a front, I think we may need to get rid of the back area. Just do that. Maybe even use this, although that's a thick branch, I can still use it. So this is just a nice tree with good taper. And do that. So you end up with a very nice tree. See, this you can't use as a front because it's not broad.
Yeah.
See, this is a better front like this.
Yeah. So in this case, would you decide first at the top and then see what's underneath?
No, I think we will use literally everything. Very unconventional tree. We're going to use everything. Do you like driftwood?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I tried and then I gave up. I just did a tiny
Okay,
bit.
we'll try a bit of driftwood. Okay, thanks. So we've decided to use every part of the tree. We're not going to cut much off. I could easily cut it off and end up with a simple design, but this is going to be a more interesting design using every bit of the tree. So we're continuing to wire now, and just one piece of wire is going to change the entire appearance of the tree. Again, it shows that almost every piece of material, every plant material can be made into bonsai. No such thing as an impossible tree. Discarded Nordmann Spruce Christmas tree, cut down to the base. How exciting is that? Nordmann Spruce.
Like this?
Okay, good. I would say I've taken or got you to take a very bold decision by keeping as much or virtually all the available branches as possible, because people would just normally just take the leading shoot and just wire the branches around the leading shoot and get a good taper. But here we've used everything. So you will see it will turn out to be very, very nice. So we've got here so far. So you can see how it's going. So now we are faced with this decision whether to use this thick branch or get rid of it completely. So you're going to say, do you need it or not? I think if you take it away, you reveal more of the trunk, so the trunk becomes more visible. Sometimes, I'll just show you as a technique, we can reduce the branch by half. If you kindly hold the camera for me.
Yeah.
Okay, it's on. I'm going to do something which I've not done in a long time. You can split a big branch into two, like a branch splitting exercise, and then it becomes two branches which you could wire as two separate branches. So we're going to try just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, I've lost nothing. But at least I'm experimenting with a new technique. So you understand that it will still live. It won't kill the tree because the sap will still flow up and down the trunk, that branch. So it is possible.
And then do you expect it to heal over
It
on
will
the
heal
side
over.
that
It will heal.
or to stay like
Conifers
this?
heal very easily because they give out a sap, and that sap makes it easier to heal than with deciduous trees. This I found it with experience. Even with pines, not so much with juniper, but with pines certainly it heals very fast. So now one thick branch I made into two thin branches. You can see what I've done here. Yeah. So I've made two branches like that. How about that? You see?
Yes.
Huh?
Interesting.
So one thick branch became two thin branches. So if we now just do a little bit of wiring there, I'll get you to do the wiring. And that is exciting technique. So like that, if you now wire. So I taught you something which I've never shown before. I've done it with big trees with the trunk. I remember splitting a larch like that, but I've seldom done it to a branch situation. I've done it to a trunk. Okay, so if you kindly wire those two, and we'll see how the design works. If it doesn't work, we can get rid of it.
Under or just here? Like this?
Go under, it may help it. Yeah, give more stability and then go up there. Okay, just a little bit is enough. So we are reinforcing it by doing a double coil. That's okay. Now do the other one. So this tree, we've got everything. We've got a bit of gin. We've kept all the branches which I normally would not do, or most people would not do. They would probably just either do one side of the tree that way or use this side. And then we've done a new technique, splitting a branch and making it into two branches. So one thick branch which is hard to wire made into two branches which could be wired. So there you go. That tree is looking very nice now, and we'll put it in a pot and you won't recognize it. So we're going to try that rectangular pot, fairly shallow, but we'll landscape it slightly and arrange it in that position. So here we are, giving it the finishing touches, and we put it in a shallow pot, so it's almost like a landscape. And the only thing we removed is that. That is all we removed. We kept everything else on the tree. Hardly anything was cut off. So we use every part of the tree to make it into that bonsai. So you happy?
Very happy, thank you.
Okay, good. Now the next project.
Yes.
So we're now going to tackle this maple. And this maple, if Nicholas, you can show me on your phone what it looks like in the autumn. That is the autumn foliage, and the leaves are the conventional shape of maple leaf, but it is not a dissectum by any means. So the leaves are that small, but I noticed the label, it shows a dissectum type leaf, which is misleading. That's wrong. And the name is Sukasa silhouette. I've not heard of that one. And it shows a dissectum leaf, so I don't think that was quite correct. Okay, so that is it. More conventional type leaf, but small leaves.
Yes.
So what we will do with this, because it's a bit too tall, you have several options. You could either be patient and airlay the tree and get several trees from that. I can show you how to do that. But if you want to make it a bonsai, we need to shorten it. And I think looking at the tree from different sides, this is also a very nice side. The flare here is very nice. You could make it a really short tree by either using this as the leader here, and then you can airlay the back portion there. So you can make a small bonsai like this. We can still airlay this and get another tree, and then make this a bonsai. You'll have beautiful taper.
Yeah.
And then you will still have the option of developing this at a later stage. So don't rush to do it.
Yeah.
The base is beautiful here. The Nemari here is beautiful. Look at it going into the soil. So this is a plus point.
I didn't dare digging further than that.
No, look at this. So nice. So what is your
well, I think
wish?
I'm a bit scared of airlaying, because I tried before I saw your videos. I tried.
Shall we teach you how to airlay here? Then
yeah, why not?
If it doesn't work,
yes.
I guarantee you, if we do it now, I think by about June, July, it should root, and you should be able to separate it, and you can bring it here. We can separate it for you.
Cool.
But you will still get a short bonsai with this as the leader. So we are doing this. So this is our tree. This is our bonsai in future. That's the bonsai.
Yeah, yeah.
So that is the bonsai. I think shape-wise, we simply do this. We don't want it that tall. We will gradually reduce it. We can even reduce it there. And then we're going to airlay that part. So you're going to learn about air layering today.
Great.
And also we've styled this, but we'll continue to keep it in the pot because we don't want to disturb the root, give it more vigor. And I think I can be pretty sure that doing it under my instruction, it should root by about June, July, maybe August even, and then we can separate the trees. So you'll get the best of both worlds.
Okay.
So shall we do that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we're going to make the air layering, and I was just explaining to Nicholas, getting to the cambium is quite a tricky thing. Unless you've done a lot, you won't understand it. We don't want to get into the clean wood, but the cambium is a very thin layer like that, and we don't want to leave too much bark. So you notice I've scraped some of this off. Of course, if you don't do it quite right, the chances of rooting are reduced. I'm not saying it won't root, but it is slightly reduced. So that's the amount we remove, and the width of the cut is about the same diameter as the trunk, you know. So that's what we do. So now we're going to put a piece of plastic. And as I said, I always like to use clear plastic, because if you use clear plastic, then you can see the roots when they form. There's no point of using black plastic, although some people, I don't know why they propagated this theory that you have to use black plastic. I don't agree with that. You don't have to use that. Clear plastic is much better. So I'm trying to make like a bag or a cup. So I will do that first. And I always prefer using wire to tie it in, because once the roots are formed, you can then remove it immediately with the wire. I keep getting questions on the YouTube videos from fans saying, what medium can I use? Because in some countries they have difficulty getting sphagnum moss. Let me bring the sphagnum moss, just keep the thing running. Sphagnum moss grows in wet areas. Around my pond, a lot of sphagnum moss grows, but we buy this sometimes from New Zealand, and sometimes I think some grows in Wales and Scotland even sell it. So this is sphagnum moss. It grows around ponds and rivers. So I'm going to fill this bag up with soil, like so. Oh, I didn't show me putting hormone rooting powder. Wait a minute, I will just get some hormone rooting powder and apply. The reason why I didn't put hormone powder is because certain species, like juniper roots very easily, and I don't use hormone powder all the time, but hormone rooting powder does help. So this is a proprietary brand, so I put it above there. Remember that the cut that I made there marks the position where the roots will grow above that. So the roots will come above the cut. Okay, so I put the hormone powder above the cut. And now I proceed to stuff it with the sphagnum moss. Some people use a very small ball of sphagnum, but in my experience from all the research I've done, we're always trying experiments with different methods of doing air layering. I found that the bigger the moss ball, the more heat it generates and the more chance of it rooting. So that I think is quite adequate. I don't know whether I should have kept this, but I will keep it because I may get a low bottom branch from that, and I will tie it really tight. Okay, now let's get another piece of wire. So you can use string, you can use anything. Just improvise. So keep it tight as possible. Don't let moisture escape. And how easy is it when it is rooted? We just untie the wire and touch wood. by the middle of this year, you should see the roots coming through the bag.
Great.
When it comes through, give me a call. And if you're uncertain as to how to make the transition, I will help you take it off and you'll get another nice big tree from that. And meanwhile, you'll have a nice small bonsai with this, with a beautiful taper, beautiful root base. And this is an extremely well grafted tree. You can see how they grafted it. They made a V cut and put this sign on top of it. So this is a good graft. Usually trees that are grown in Europe are grafted very high, like fruit trees. They're grafted about 30 centimeters or a foot above the base, which makes it an ugly tree. So this is only like 2-3 inches above the base, so it's not too bad. The graft is quite presentable, very nice looking graft. So this is all I can do with this. So certain instances we make instant bonsai, but in this case we are going to be a bit greedy and get 2 trees from one. So I hope you've learned. I've taught you how to do air layering. I've taught you how to look for the tree so you can see the future direction of the tree. We can even keep it down to here. So I hope you've been happy with what you've learned today.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yeah.
Great.